Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the SOULKATION podcast. I am super excited because I have a special guest that you all are about to enjoy. A little snippet about him is he's a husband, father, 6-year NFL veteran. He's the second-round draft pick for the NFL. He was SEC's all-time leader in catches and receiving yards. He was a 2014 All-American, and he graduated from Vanderbilt. And he got a degree in economics. So that means he reads, he studies, ladies. Jordan Matthews, welcome to the SOULKATION podcast.
What's up? Thanks for having me. I've been waiting. This podcast has been out for a while. And I've been looking. I'm like, when on? I'm just grinding. I know you only get grinders on here, so I'm finally
Hey, and you are a grinder. We already know your routine. We're going to talk about that too, because I really want to know. Matter of fact, let's start there.
Okay, that's good.
How important is a routine? Because there's a lot of people that's out here saying, I'm about to get it. I'm getting money. I'm about to start this new career. All these great, it sounds good. Yeah. But if you don't have a routine, it's not going to sustain. So why is that important?
Well, I'm a big proponent of winning the whole day, and a lot of people, they don't realize like the way our minds are set up, whatever you let infiltrate your mind, that's what's going to come out. And so I always try and take hold of my day personally early. Any coach that I've had, probably since senior year in high school, but definitely all throughout college and through the NFL, they'll tell you like Jordan's always one of the first ones in, last one out. And I would tell them all the time, a lot of that's not just football oriented. A lot of that is me getting my mind and my body right so that when I get to that first team meeting, like now my coach hasn't owned my whole day. I've taken control of it on the front end. So by the time I get to football, I've already won. And now this is the easy part. So what I usually do is I start off my day usually waking up sometime at least before 6. A lot of times it usually depends when I can get to sleep the night before. Having a son makes it a little bit harder. We'll talk about that probably later. But if I could choose 5:15 at the latest, I'm waking up at 5:15, and then for the first 5 minutes that day, I'm just going to wake up. I'm just going to pray. I'm going to get down on my knees. Probably Shayna's knocked out still. Probably just hold her hand. She probably don't even know I'm doing it. Say a quick prayer just to kind of get my day started. Then I usually like to light a candle, one of my workstations, light a candle, and then I just do some reading. I'm going through the New Testament right now with Shayna, so I'll just probably go through a couple chapters, and then I journal. And I don't think people realize how much evidence around journaling there is on how good it is for you. It really struck me because I would have a lot of anxiety some days going into football practice, especially when you're going into camp, you got to go earn a spot or games. Shayna came and told me, Jordan, the reason why you're so anxious is because when you get out there on the field, all that anxiety is finally coming out. You actually have the power to put that out early in the day. So by the time the game comes around, it's already been gone. You've already processed it. You've already put it out there. And so now you can just play. And I remember her telling me this. It was going into my second stint with the Eagles. It was after I was with the Patriots. I came back to the Eagles and changed everything for me. Statistically, it was my least statistically successful year with the Eagles, but to me, I felt like it was my most because that was when I played the most free. I scored in a playoff game. I had a lot of fun. And just my tape, I feel like my tape that year, you could tell I was playing free. So I'll journal. I'll go make sure I always get some type of breakfast. I'm a big veggie person at breakfast. So I get probably 60% of my plate's veggies, 30% is grains, and then 10% is some type of meat protein, whether it's egg whites or whole, grass-fed sausage, something like that. And then, yoga. I know right now I work out 3 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday. I start my morning off with yoga. I'll Zoom in my yoga teacher from California. She'll run me through an hour of yoga before I even go do anything else. So I'm a big morning person, big on morning routine.
Okay, California, getting the shout out.
You know.
Okay, he just literally gave us a whole routine. And okay, for journaling, is it writing down exactly what you're feeling? Is it what you're hearing from God? What is that?
So for me, most days is usually a prayer lots of times. So I'll wake up. First, I start saying what I'm thankful for. And I don't think people realize how big having a posture of gratitude is going into a day. A lot of people wake up and they look at their phones. And I'm telling you, that's so dangerous because the second you look at your phone, you're looking at news that's probably bad. So you're already internalizing what's bad going on in the world. That's not even all the time just your world. That's just what other people are going through. Or you look at social media, and so now you're comparing. And I've always believed that comparison is the key to unhappiness. That's why I don't have an Instagram. I don't think it's bad. I know people got to promote on Instagram. I know people use it for the right reasons. For me personally, the way my mind works, I don't like it because I know it causes compare. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking, I'm like, man, I got to get that car now and shoot. You know, so I don't like that in my life. But I know a lot of people, when they wake up, they do that. So they're automatically comparing. And I say, man, let me wake up and think about what I'm thankful for. So the first thing I start doing, hey, God, thank you for this. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my wife. Thank you for the fact that I woke up. Thank you for food on the table, roof. And it varies from season to season. You know, if I'm healthy going into week 12 of season, God, thank you for the fact that I practiced today, you know, things like that. And then it gets real specific, whatever I'm going through. If I got practice that day, you know, help me today be the best that I can be. Help me stay focused, things like that. And then I usually end most of my journals with what I rebuke. And I'm just going to say right now, look, I rebuke this. Like, I'm not, you know, self-pity. Like, if I'm going through a hard time in football, like right now, I'm not accepting that. Like, we're going to wake up and we're going to figure out how to fix this because nobody is coming to save me. You know, I gotta go figure this out. And then things like envy, pride, over talkativeness. There's a lot of things that I'm just like, that has no place today. And, you know, once I close that journal, I feel like I've just released so much that now I can actually just be, I can just live. Now, is every day perfect? No, but I will tell you this, the days that I go through that routine, I stay on it. Is night and day and more than usual I am on. So, yeah.
That's so good. Tell me one life-changing lesson that you've learned playing in the NFL.
Oh man, life changing. I've learned a couple. I would say, can I give you two, if possible? So the first one is you got to do more than what's required of you. I think that we definitely live in a culture where people are like, oh, I did my job. And I think that's important. Whatever your job is, you need to make sure you do that really well. But I think we're sometimes clueless about the fact that everybody don't got the same starting line. So if you trying to advance in your career, are you trying to make that jump in production, you might have to work harder than this other person. And it's not just this cliche like, oh, work hard. No, you might have to put in more time because that person's parents might already have a trust fund for them that you don't got. You know what I'm saying? Or they might already have connections in this company that you don't have. So you're going to have to get an A in that class. You're going to have to, and that's one thing the NFL taught me in playing at Vanderbilt was when you come into Vanderbilt, right, me and my teammates, we looked a certain way, okay? And we played the best conference in college football. We played against Alabama, LSU. Them boys look different than us. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm glad we're doing this on video so people can see this illustration. Them cats coming in right here, and we coming in right here. If we both worked out for an hour, who's still ahead? Right. Well, we ain't got no chance. So if we put an extra 30, okay, extra 30. Now, they still got a little bit extra. And you start making ground. People don't realize I have a mentor group of kids that I worked with in Camden, New Jersey when I was playing with the Eagles. And I would tell them, guys, tell me some things that are true. Tell me about some things about being, you know, young and black in America that are true, especially coming out of Camden. They talked about how hard the environment was. I said, yes, that's very true. They talked about some of the things that are against them, you know, systemic. I'm like, that's so true. You know, they talked about the things, you know, family-wise, like things that are pressed upon us from the media. You know, we don't see a lot of families together from TV shows and things like that. That's so true, you know. And I said, now let's talk about another truth. The world don't care. So that's the sad truth. Those other things are very true of us, but the other part is the world's not coming to save us. So we got to look inside ourselves, internalize that truth, and say, okay, well, we're going to use what's been pushed up against us, those obstacles, to help us move forward. Okay, yeah, we got a harder road, but guess what? By the time I catch up with that person, they don't stand a chance because I've been through more. Go look at some of the most successful people in the world. They've all been through adversity, because when they finally catch up with that person who had it easy, that person who had it easy don't stand a chance. And so that's where I was able to that was one of the biggest lessons I learned, D. And that's where, you know, the NFL really, really helped me. And the second thing was kind of what I alluded to before, is the fact that, you know, we live, I think, in a day where a lot of people are expecting somebody to come to their rescue, you know. And now, right now, with what's going on, look, they better send a stimulus check, you know, 'cause it's crazy right now. This whole coronavirus thing is out of control. But when things get back to a sense of normalcy, so many people will be going through life, and it's like they expect somebody to come in and just get them out of their situation. And I'm just like, that's not the case. My second year, I was having a rough season. I had a great rookie year. Was having a rough season. And my coach at that time, Chip Kelly, could tell that I was, you know, just down. I wasn't my normal self. I was overthinking, but more than anything, I was looking for somebody to feel sorry for me, honestly, when I look back. And he comes over to me and says, Jordan, I got to tell you something. 80% of people don't care about your problems, and 20% are glad you got them. So go to work and fix your situation. And at that point, I was like, Lord, so, you know what I'm saying?
Hold on. I got to send it for the next 2 years. That's
yes.
Repeat it, please. Repeat it.
Okay. And this is Chip Kelly, head coach at UCLA now. Real good friend of mine. He told me, Jordan, 80% of people do not care about your problems, and 20% are glad you got them. And right then and there, I said, okay, like this self-pity thing. And now, like, now I know there's a little bit more, but I think my wife, you know what I'm saying? I know family. I know I have a good support system that do care. But
right.
in the grand scheme of things, guess what? That person got problems too.
Yeah.
And that's what he was really getting at. And that's what I've seen is like, you know, you can sit, you know, I've heard the thing, you know, you go put your problems on the stage with other people, you might end up taking yours back, you know. But I think it was just going through that situation, then I started realizing it's a grown man's league. And in the NFL, there's always somebody coming to get you. And that's the beautiful thing, like, about football is it's so tough, it's so real. And it is the most, I think it corresponds the most to life too, because nothing's guaranteed. Basketball, a guaranteed contract. I'll tell you something, in life ain't nothing guaranteed. So that's different. You know what I'm saying? Baseball, the same thing. NFL players, we in life, like I can meet somebody that's working, you know, at IBM and say, look, we might be on the same page. I can relate in some shape, form, or fashion. But that's just the game, and I love it. I love it to this day. It's something that has really changed my life in a beautiful way. I know my wife is a soccer player, so she says she plays real football. You know, it's yet to be determined. She's gonna let my son play, but we'll see. I know it did a lot for me. My brain's still intact too, so it's been a blessing.
Okay, so let's switch gears. A high selling point for a lot of companies, brands, is when you get this, you will feel this. You get the MacBook, now you feel like you belong. You get the marriage, now you feel like you're important or you're chosen. When you get the title or the business up and running, now everybody knows that you made it, right? What have you learned that contradicts that statement?
Yeah, I can speak from pretty much experience, you know, and I would say I'd even probably have even more insight if we won the Super Bowl, because that's probably that last thing where you've got, I mean, the biggest sport in the world, biggest league's the NFL. So the biggest prize essentially is the Super Bowl. Now, I've been there, you know, and I've been in a locker room with a team as far as the Eagles, literally up to a year that they went, and then I came also the year right after. So I still saw a lot of the dynamics. I can tell you right now, the guys that were happy before they went and won the Super Bowl were the same dudes that were happy after. The same dudes that had joy or same dudes that had joy after. Same cats that were miserable or same cats that were miserable after. The same guys who did not understand their purpose or had an emptiness, won the Super Bowl, same guys. And so I tell people all the time, like, you gotta be really careful how much stock and how much weight you put into things that can die. I'm just, and that's just, I think you can have fun with it. And I think life is meant to be enjoyed. I don't mean that, but it's just like, be honest with it. At some point, there's going to be another person that comes in and wins the Super Bowl. Like that, playing in the NFL is great. When I'm done, there's going to be another Jordan Matthews that comes in. So if I didn't enjoy it, it was a waste. If I put too much stock in it, it's not going to be worth nothing in 3, 4, 5, 6 years unless I have fun with it and I use it to network and use it to grow relationships. So I think that's the biggest thing, and I'm not saying that I figured this out. I'm not saying that I still don't. I see a pair of Jordans, I'd be like, man, I think my life might be complete with those on my feet. It's just, I think it's just natural. I think it's human nature, right, where we sometimes fall into that. But I can tell you from experience too, as far as like being like a family man now, when me and Shayna like sit down after successfully putting Josiah to sleep to watch like a movie together, and then we talk about the movie and assess it, like, oh, break it. Like, I'm like, man, we could have done this no matter how much money I was making. Like, the best things in life, literally, like enjoying a meal together, going to the movies, going on a walk, having a child. You don't need a lot of money, prestige, or fame to do these things. And they're honestly the things that give us the most joy. Yeah, I tell people, my situation is, for me, God had in his plans for me to be married. Some people, it might be in singlehood. It might be having a good friend that they're able to do that with. It might be having a sibling, It might be just them to themselves. They love just reading and writing, but there's so many things that we're able to enjoy that you don't need all the other things in order to, experience that. So I just tell people all the time, J. Cole, I'm a big J. Cole fan. I love rappers actually talk about something. But he's got a song on one of his albums where he actually says, he's like, he's telling these people, like, you can tell them as much as you want to. It's not as good as it seems. Everything that glitters isn't gold. But they always say, until I experience it, how can I know? Mm-hmm. And I think that's just the human speech. Like, well, if I had $1 million, I wouldn't have reacted the same way the other person did. It's human nature. So I just feel just the whole time, like, as you go after those dreams, just continue to have those resets, have those people in your corner that can say, hey, like, remember, like, these are things that are most important. We're going to slip, we're going to fall, but hopefully we can get to the other side and still be intact, as far as our spirit is concerned.
That's good. You actually mentioned partnerships and relationships. So how can people build those genuine relationships, those genuine partnerships without feeling like I'm about to use this person? Because a lot of people don't go after going up speaking to somebody at a networking event or putting themselves out there at a conference or even on social media to say, hey, I love your stuff. I would love just to ask you a question or something like that. How do you build those genuine relationships without in the back of your head saying, well, I'm just trying to use this person?
Right. So I personally believe that the best relationships happen when two people are going toward the same thing. It's lots of times, it's not sometimes each other. I think, like I said, I'm so glad this is on video so people can actually see me. So when me and Shayna started dating, it was kind of explained to us like this: like, we both right here, okay? And if up here is ultimate growth, ultimate joy, ultimate enlightenment, ultimate connection with the Lord, then if I'm going this way and she's going this way, what are we going to do? We're going to end up meeting at the perfect point where now there's something else that we both put stock in, but it helped us come to each other. Now, what happens if I'm just trying to get her attention and she's going here? We're going to miss each other. It's just it's not going to end up being, now I'm this dude who's a leech. I'm trying to get all my joy from her. She's like, you got to be able to be by yourself and still be filled. I found the same thing was true of, because last time we talk about these relationships, people start thinking, oh, it's always just dating. No, I found the same thing with my teammates. all of my teammates I'm still close friends with, the Vanderbilt with, I guarantee when I got to Vanderbilt's football team, I did not think, man, I cannot wait to make some friends. That was not what I was thinking. I said, I'm going to come here. I'm going to graduate. I'm going to have a chance to go possibly play in the NFL. I'm going to make something of myself. I'm going to get good grades. I'm not about to leave here with a baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to try, do it the right way. All of my friends, my close friends, you could look at every single one of us. By the time we graduated, all of us had a job. All of us had a chance to play in the NFL. All of us had aspirations of doing something after the NFL. All of us, you know what I'm saying, had, for the most part, stable relationships. Even to the littlest thing, like none of us had I'm not saying like tattoos are a bad thing, but it was just so crazy how similar we were.
Yeah.
We had this connection, and it wasn't because when we got to the football team, we're like, oh, let's just be super close friends. Because we got there and I started saying, I'm grinding. I'm going to that thing. And you can meet me there. And the cast that met me there were the dudes that I had. We weren't all the same, but we all had this drive. It was the same thing with my wife. Like, I've got this thing that I'm going to, and she had this thing that she was going towards. And so we always gonna meet each other there. And that's what's helping the relationship grow. I think that's sometimes the biggest. I have a lot of friends who are, who are young ladies who maybe think like, okay, I'm probably trying to date. And I'm like, man, that's why I love what you're doing, D, because I tell people all the time, like, man, if you're going after what you're going after, trust me. A dude's gonna wise up who also going that way, and he gonna be like, okay, this is a partner. This is a friendship. This is something that can last. There was nothing that made me more fearful of a relationship, whether it was one that I was in maybe before I was married or something that I'm maybe observing for one of my friends. I'm like, you're going after this thing, and this person's only going after you, And I think you can do both, it's a powerful thing that me and Shayna have been able to do. Because trust me, the first time I saw her, I was like, oh my gosh, the most beautiful girl I ever seen. I was like, if she ain't a wife, I don't know what is. It's just in my mind, as I hit my mind. I literally had people on campus calling her Naomi Campbell. That's how that's how beautiful she was to me. But basically, if at that point I would have said, okay, my sole purpose is just to, only grab it, then I feel like it wouldn't have been the same. I think Shayna appreciated the fact that she saw me also trying to grow myself, but she also saw that I was interested. She was hard on me. She was real hard on me, but couldn't run too long. And so now, and I think it's been the building blocks for a real relationship. I'm a marriage with my friend. I'm not just in a marriage with a trophy. This is my friend. This is my lover. She encapsulates so many different attributes because we were able to build it on something that was just bigger than ourselves.
That's so good. Let's go into that a little bit, because a lot of women feel like we have to contour, shape, bend to fit the mold. Like, you were playing for the NFL, and of course she is a professional soccer player, but she's still a woman. So some women feel like, I have to be this thing in order to get love. So what would you say to women who feel like they have to change everything about themselves just to get the ring?
Oh, no, and I think too, one, I sympathize for sure, because I know I grew up in a culture where that's pushed on little girls from the very time they're young, and you see how the Disney movies are changing now. You watch them now, a lot more of them are saying, okay, we're going to, you look at the Frozens, the Zootopias, okay, we're going to take this girl and she's just going to be the hero. She don't need Prince Charming to come after her. And I think there's power in that. Because, our generation, it was about, until Prince Charming came, the movie couldn't really start. It had to be Snow White, Cinderella. It had to be Aladdin, every single one. There had to be a Prince Charming. And the thing is, that's not always the case, know? And so what's so sad to me is I feel like I grew up around a culture where it was like, if a woman was so successful, but she didn't have a man, that was like the knock on her. Oh, she can't keep a man. It's like, maybe he can't keep her, To me, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like, that's not, but that's this overarching viewpoint. And unfortunately, that's why I feel like has been pushed on our young girls. So first off, I want to say that I, for one, don't align with that way of thinking at all. What I believe is we've got to continue to, tell our young girls, like, hey, look, this is what you are worth. Because I'm telling you right now, if women stop paying men attention, men will change quick.
Come on.
When I tell you, it would be about face. You see dudes looking like they was in the military just trying to get a date. But, I remember, this is not a great, just bear with the analogy, because this is college talk. This is college talk. But I remember this girl asking this one guy in school with me one time. He was like, okay. She said, what's up with y'all football players? Why don't y'all ever just do something, be in a serious relationship with a girl? And the dude looked at her and said, why buy the cow when the milk is free? And I was like, first, we have to call women cows. But what he was saying was basically, why invest when there's instant gratification out here?
Yeah.
And so, like I would say, that if you know that that's the mindset and that's this culture that we live in right now, I would say then you got to look at yourself and say, okay, what am I willing to put up with? Do I want to be in a relationship just for the sake of being in a relationship, and now I got to take on all this other stuff? Or am I willing to say, okay, like, I'm going to advance my life. I'm going to build strong relationships with whoever God puts in my circle, whoever God leads me to be around. And if it grows to something, it grows to something. Men are not good. They do not have good poker faces. We're going to show our hand. If a brother wants to talk to a woman, he going to show his hand. I truly believe that. And, and if you're doing your thing and he does somehow, just trick you and he ends up being then you know what? Hey, joke's on him. He still missed out on the good, And so that's always the way I feel, like, guys, for us, I think just most men are so used to instant gratification that they just don't even know how to really sit down, focus, and work for a woman.
Yeah.
One last thing. I was talking to some guys about this, and I told them, I said, y'all living like with dating, I said, it's Netflix culture for y'all. Y'all go on Netflix. If you don't know what you about to watch, you're just going to scroll. You're just going to scroll. You're just going to scroll. Oh, that kind of look good. I'm going to watch that. And before you know it, you done scroll for 40 minutes where you could have just picked a movie and just been watching it and just enjoyed it. Now, what happens when you go on Netflix and you know exactly what you want to watch? You go on there, you click it, and you invest. You watch it, you enjoy it, you dissect it, you probably tell somebody about it.
Right.
But they going into Netflix, i.e. the dating world, and they don't even know what they want. They ain't even taking the time to sit down and say, okay, what do I really need in a partner? So now they just going out, they go on maybe a date, second they get in the car, they back on their phone scrolling. Like, this isn't healthy. And so I think a lot of it too is just two-sided. I think it's empowering our young girls to say, hey, like, you don't need a man. A man is gonna benefit from being with you. And as long as you are whole as a single, then when you come into a relationship, potentially, you're going to be able to tell. You're like, oh, this is off. Oh, no, this is right. This is good.
Yeah.
And for our young men, it's just teaching them, like, hey, this is how we treat a woman. This is how a man, handles things in a relationship. This is how we grow. This is how you communicate, things like that. And I think those things can go a long way, because I'm like, guys ain't fooling me. I'm like, I know y'all like them. I know y'all like the girls. Let's treat them right. Let's figure out how we going to do this so we can continue to build long-lasting, real relationships.
That's so good. Jules, ladies, Jules. Okay, we're going to do something called Rapid Soul Questions. So I'm going to ask you a question, whatever comes to your mind.
Yeah. Okay.
Name a person you think is really funny.
Ooh, oh my gosh. Dang, Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle.
That was too slow.
Last song you listened to.
Oh, When to Say When, Drake.
Okay. What dessert can't you live without?
Hot and cold. So ice cream with like hot brownie.
Yes, brownie.
Yes.
What trait do you like about yourself the most?
Oh man. Communicator. I feel like I can talk to anybody.
One product that you must use every single day.
Product. Ooh. Product. Toothpaste.
It's important.
Better. You know what I'm saying?
It's
I keep
important. If you could go to dinner with anyone that has passed away or still alive, who would it be?
Okay, without the obvious being Jesus. Okay, I'll make it a little bit harder. I would say David Goggins.
Mm.
David. Yes, yes. For the longest, like I said, with Barack, Kanye West, and Francis Chan tailing them like they're on his coattail. But this dude David Goggins, I like him. I like him a lot. I love to sit down, have a dinner with him.
Yeah. He is definitely deep. Okay.
Yes, yes, yeah. Nothing fake about him. I love the grinders. I love the guys that are willing to put themselves out there, work hard and just be themselves. So obviously, it take a lot to pass up Barack. Trust me. But
Yeah.
I'm like, he on a date with Cheryl probably. So I'm gonna get David.
What's one book you believe everybody should read besides the Bible?
One book everybody should read beside. Okay. As a Man Thinketh, James Allen.
I knew you were gonna say that.
It was written in like the 1920s. Yep. As a Man Thinketh, James Allen. I also like obviously Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins too. Great book. Yes.
He sent me the book, y'all.
Yep.
So what are you looking to do next? What should people be looking for? Should we be excited about? Is there anything that you can give us a sneak peek on?
Yeah, so obviously NFL draft is going on right now. So I'm going to year 7 of my career. So where I am is probably wait for the draft to end, and then we'll start, contacting some teams, see if they're trying to fill out their roster. So see if any teams are interested in bringing me on. Obviously with everything kind of happening too, with the coronavirus, this has been a weird off season. So I think the prospects of that happening probably go up, just because you don't really know what the rookies may possibly be bringing or what's going on. So I've played a lot of years. I had production, and I can help out a room. So we'll see if somebody calls. If somebody does, we'll look at it. My family, my son's only 1, about to be 2 in August, so we still got some flexibility. We can move around a little bit. My wife's really supportive, so I'm excited about seeing if a call comes in. Currently getting my master's at Northwestern in sports administration. Yep, appreciate that. So just learning about the business of sports. I'd definitely be interested in some form of management, administration, probably at the college level early on, just to help with sports. I've been able to see both sides because my wife is a professional soccer player, so I see from the man and women's side. I would say the one thing that I just got to continue to pray on is the fact that, I'm still so close. I'm still in the mix of playing. Yeah. And I've talked to a lot of guys, and when they're playing, they're like, I would never coach. I never coach. And then 2 years later, they coach, and I think a lot of times what happens is whenever you're leaving the game, so you can't help just be bitter. You can't help just be like, man, I wish I was still going. You just kind of miss it. But when you're mad, you kind of don't see. And so you just kind of like, I'm not doing that. And then before you know it, 2 years later, you got the bug back to be in the game. You got that itch. Yeah. Then you paying it forward. And so right now, I would say I could definitely see myself giving back in more of an administration round, but I don't ever rule out coaching. I think that comes extremely natural to me. So we'll see. And it'll definitely be something that me and my family probably is something that we're all going to come together and make a decision on, because more than anything, I just want to be a good husband, good father, spend time with my family.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jordan. This is amazing.
Thank you. People on the SOULKATION podcast know that your nickname is Dino? Oh, it's cool.
I'll give y'all a little sneak peek. He is my first cousin. So we know each other very well. We know each other very well. This is my boy. This is my boy. So thank you again so much for coming on the podcast.
Love you so much.
Love you too.
Peace.